Hello everybody. So we're now at class 14 and we're going to do the same as we did last week by default. I'm going to do the yoga without talking and then we'll do the talking afterwards over. So if you can get ready with having your strap and a kind of a dictionary or a heavy block, which is not going to be lifted, it's going to be for the butterfly between your feet. So once you've got that, and if you need a pillow or something for underneath your head, get it now. You can make yourself ready, sit comfortably, begin to center. So begin to sit upright, feel your sitting bones comfortably upright. Begin to take some nice deep yoga breath into the belly, side of your ribs, collarbone region, the back. Slowing down, always having an elongated spine without being rigid, dropping your shoulders. Feel the breath in your heart, in your belly, your throat, nostrils. Then we're going to go and do a breath where you open the chest, and it makes quite a strong sound. So it's, you go breathe in and you go back, shh. In through your nose and then shh. 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 Really moving the spine from back bend into forward bend. Shh. Open your chest. Head back. Shh. Shh. Loose fists. Keep going. You want to get the energies moving. It might be cold. Gauge the spine. Shh. 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 So hissing sound. Shh. Shh. Speed up. Shh. Shh. And just sit and allow the energy to flow through you. Quite a different feeling already. Maybe just release forward. Feel the energy flow in your back, front of your body. Allow it to settle. Totally relaxed. And we're going to do another one without any sound. Again, opening the chest, back bend, forward bend. So if you can sit on your knees, sit on your knees. Otherwise, sit cross-legged. Just watch how much you can open that spine from back bend to forward bend. Like the Kundalini one, this one. As you lift your arms, you really open the armpits, chest up, and then really drop your chin and round your whole back. Keep moving with the breath. If you need to have a firm between your sitting bones and your heels, always place a tarot book. Perhaps slowly increasing your range of back bend and forward bend. Feel the spine. And come into either a child pose with your arms back, or if you prefer the Eastern plank position, separating your knees if you need to allow your whole body to come to a rest. Full stop. We're going to do a neck one, a neck release. So your hands behind you with your one hand across the other with your palms facing out, coming up to the side of your ear, sitting bones up. And just alternate. Feeling the pull on the one side of your neck and shoulder, creating that twist. Move with the breath. Almost creating a bit of a hollow back as you come down and the twist. Feet flat. creating some movement in your body. You're going to hold it. So drop your arms more, maybe sitting bones higher. If you find it difficult sometimes taking your knees a bit further back, might be easier for some people. Or put a firm or a book underneath your head if it's too deep. Allow the shoulders and the arms to drop, palms facing up. And the same on the other side. I remember one of my students telling me that her sister used to sleep like that as a child. And then once again come into a symmetrical position, Eastern praying position or child pose. Releasing your shoulders, your neck. We're going to do a cat variation. So come into a neutral position, your hands just beyond your shoulders, as wide as your hips. Now as you start with the arched cat, you push your hands into the floor forward. As you bring the hollow cat, you press your palms down towards you. Then look behind you, more neutral back to your heel. You do the arched back, press your hands and your palms down and forward. Opposite when you press back. Shifting from side to side so you get mobility in your hip. Really dropping your chin, you have the arched one. Remember to keep your hands active, so press them forward when you do the arched cat. Backwards when you do the hollow cat. Looking towards your heel. Flowing a bit more over time, getting looser. Creating more mobility, palms facing forward and down, backwards in your hollow, swinging your hips loosely. Feeling the mobility of your spine as a unit. Now you can hold it for a few breaths, press your palms forward, your fingers arching your back, and hollow it and press your palms towards you. Hold it a bit longer when you look at your right foot past your shoulder, swinging your hips to the left, the same the other way around. For a moment, come back into an Eastern praying position. Release your wrists and your hands because you've worked them quite hard. So we're going to do the extended opposite arm and leg. The idea is that you really rotate the back thigh in. Hold it for 4 breaths, come back. And if you can, straighten your knee. Looked like mine is bent, but it's not, I can tell you. It's the way it looks. Lengthening and strengthening the lower back of the extended leg. Always rotating the back thigh inwards. Spread the fingers so the energy can flow through the hands. Looking down with your neck comfortable. Holding your center. Full breath each side. Then we're going to do another one, abdominal strengthener. So you come onto your back. You cross your ankles and you bring your knees more or less over your sitting bones, not closer to your chest. Your palms are facing in and they're on the forehead and the elbows are parallel, not wider. You can drop your feet slightly. As you breathe in, you roll your back. As you breathe out, you roll up with your elbows moving to your thighs, but your thighs stay over your sitting bones not closer to your ribs. So it's quite strong. Always release when you breathe in, roll up as you breathe out. If you can, flatten your lumbar region. Abdominals will engage automatically. The elbows are parallel. And then you're going to cross the feet the other way around. Another 2. And bring your knees to your chest and circle them loosely, releasing your back. Circling them in both directions, get right to the top of your sacrum and the bottom of your sacrum, as large as you can make them. Totally relaxed, loosening your back. Then maybe separate, mirroring the knees. We're going to do a twist. So bend your right knee and put your left ankle against the knee and interlace your hands behind your head in such a way that your fingers are quite loose. If possible, you want to have your elbows on the floor. And center your hip. The idea is to keep the upper trunk separate from the lower trunk. So you move the left knee towards the floor and then come back up. So you begin to engage the oblique on the right side. Keeping the elbows if you can down, but certainly your head centered. The right foot down. Perhaps over time you can increase your range, feeling it in your waist as well as the oblique, and separating the lower trunk from the upper trunk. So your opposite shoulder particularly needs to stay down, but if you can, the elbow as well. And you can hold it. Whole body awareness. Ground your back, upper trunk. The hips are grounded. Other way around. Placing your right ankle against your left knee, your foot a little beyond your knee, but in line with your sitting bone, not in. Do exactly the same mindfully with your breathing tempo, without changing your upper trunk. Your shoulder blades are grounded throughout the exercise. Facial area released, hold. Keep that left foot grounded. Breathe. Come back and come into a lying down butterfly. You can have your arms above your head if you like, or sideways. Palms facing up, maybe slide your feet lower. Consciously releasing that sacrum. It's a very lovely position to release the lower back. Dropping your knees, keep your shoulders relaxed. So your groin begins to open and stretch without forcing it. At the same time releasing your coccyx area and the whole of your sacrum. And then do an inverted stretch, perhaps flex your feet, lift your heels, grow an inch or two. You're going to come up, and you're going to do a side stretch. Your knees aligned with your hip, one above the other. You bend the elbow of the outer arm, the right arm, and then come into the side stretch. The palm is facing up, you should slide it along your thigh or your shin. Try and face forward and slowly warm up, slightly spreading the fingers, loosening up. The whole right side is beginning to stretch, and then you can hold it. Take your arm across your ear, not the forehead. If you can look forward or up, do so. Get that inner thigh stretch, slightly pressing into the left foot. Breathe into the belly, whole body awareness, extend, hold. And slowly come back. I'm going to do the other way around. So again, align your thigh and your knee and your hip. It's exactly the same. It might feel different though. Right palm facing up. Opening that left side of the whole of your upper trunk. If you can, straighten your elbow. Press into your right foot. And see if you can hold it. And as you breathe out each time, you might slide a little bit lower down. Allow it to happen naturally. And come out of it. And either sit in the hero position, or if you prefer, the Eastern praying or child pose. For a moment, coming back to symmetry. And relax. And now we're going to do the Tibetan table. Tibetan table, so you can either have your hands facing forward or backwards, come up, make a table, head back, and then reach up into the flexed foot and the left, and come up again for a moment before you release. Quite a pressure on your hands as you come into forward bend, perhaps bending your knees if it's easier. So it will be different for everybody where the hands exactly are, but try and make it a table so that it's sort of horizontal. Reach into your feet as you come up again before you release your sitting bones next to your hands, slightly back, and come into forward bend. Perhaps hold it for an extra breath. Quite strong on your arms. Particularly when you lift your leg, flex your foot, head back, elbows straight, come up before you release into the sitting, forward bend. And find your own rhythm. We'll do it one more sequence after this one. Horizontal, head back, shoulders away from your ears. And then stay in the forward bend a little bit longer. Oh, there's one more, sorry. Shoulders away from your ears. You can't go all the way down, always don't go all the way down, of course. Sitting bones back, chest forward, head released. Allowing your body to release in between is always very important. Whole body awareness. So we're going to do what's called a movement for training. It comes from a strange book from the East. And we've done it before, and it's not easy. You might look at it, actually isn't. If you can't be on your knees like that, sit higher off your knees, like some of you do. I'm just demonstrating it now. So sit on your knees, put a firm there if you need to. You know that might be awkward. Bring your arms up, and then come into a plank. Extend. From the plank you come straight into a dog, wish your head up, look up, lift out of the shoulders, press your palms back. And then into a dog, wish your head down, look towards your thigh, navel. Then you come forward again, if you can, chaturanga onto your forehead. And then you come back onto your heels again, with your arms up, and from there come into an Eastern praying position. Coming back up. As you breathe in, arms above your head. Back into plank, extend in both directions. Dog with your head up, either with your knees on or off the floor. To a dog with your head down. Work at it, hips and shoulders toward each other. And come back forward onto the floor, so it's like a variation of chaturanga. Pushing back onto your heels with your arms up, extend. And back into the Eastern praying position. Come back up with your arms on your heels. And then see if you can come into plank. Extend from the waist in both directions. Into the dog with your head up. Rotate the upper arms out. dog with your head down, hands and feet away from each other. Come forward, down if you can, chaturanga, back onto your heels with your arms extended. And as you breathe out, come down. So you can do it on your own breathing tempo. Moving with the breath. Flatten your feet and you come back onto your heels. Slowly releasing down. Extend in the plank. Lift out of the shoulders. Don't overdrop your lower back. Dog with your head up. Acute angle, dog with your head down, heels down. Chaturanga with your own variation. It really works the back. Quite a lot on your arms as well. Feeling each posture. Feeling its different message, different sensations. Now you can hold the dog with your head up for a while. Pressing back with your palms, chest up. And then hold the dog with your head down. Head to the floor. Hands and feet away from each other, rotate the upper arms out. And you can bend to one knee, hold it for an extra breath. And then the other one, getting to the hamstring, to the calves. Press into your inner hand. Shoulder blades to your waist. Chest towards your thigh. And then hold it for a few more breaths, putting the thighs back, the heels down. And then finish the sequence back into chaturanga. Back onto your heels, arms up into the Eastern praying position. And relax. Always allow the whole body to release totally, not holding on to any tightness if you can, really soft. We're going to do a batik hip stretch now. Kit Loveland's, we have done a lot of his things now. So bring your left foot up, keep your hands on the inside of your left foot. And in this one, the most important instruction is not to drop your knees and your hips. So you can see I'm sort of moving it up and down until you find it kind of quite a high level. Pull your heel back, chest forward. And then if you can, not everybody will be able to do that, bend your elbows backwards and take your head closer to the floor without dropping your hip. So it gets a stretch into your hip and into your batik. Bending your elbows backwards. Come up for a moment and repeat that. So keep your hip quite high. Try and not bring your elbows out, but parallel to each other. And then drop your right knee and you do it the other way around. Taking your hands on the inside of your right foot, onto your left foot. Putting the heel back. Keeping the hips slightly lifted. The elbows straight to start with. And press into the front foot to accentuate that stretch if you can. And bring your head down, elbows back. And see if you can pull the back heel down. Get quite a strong stretch in your batik hip region. For a moment, come up. And then bend your elbows again, bring your head closer to your hands. Pull the heel back, breathe. And sit on your heels in the hero position. If you prefer, always do an Eastern praying position. You're going to do now a side stretch, slightly complicated one, because you're going to keep your one foot only on the ball of the foot, crossing over the other, and you're going to put some pressure onto the ball of that foot. You hold the one wrist with the other, so you can pull at it. Doesn't actually matter which. Now you're going to look down at your grounded heel. It might be the right one. And see if you can look down, but you pull onto that upper arm, so you open that whole right side of your body. Looking down at your heel, and slowly come up, still pressing into the foot where the heel is off the floor, and looking at that, still pulling onto your hand, so the upper trunk gets quite a stretch. And try that again, pressing into the sort of ball of the one foot, pulling onto the arm, looking down at the heel that's grounded, and then once more the other way around. Keep pulling on your wrist as you press into the ball of the foot where the heel is off the floor, looking down at the grounded heel. To do it the other way around. Right or left, take the other index finger thumb around the wrist and look at the heel that's grounded. Pull onto the arm, slowly accentuating that stretch on the left side of your body. And go to the opposite side, press into the ball of the foot where the heel is off the floor, look down, pull onto your arm, quite a lot of things to think of. Do it the other way around, pressing into the ball of the foot, extending the upper arm, pulling at it, looking down. It's a bit of a balance. Once more the other way around, opening the right side of your body, pressing into the ball of the foot. Come back, uncross. And for a moment, once you've released your shoulders, come into a forward bend that you can get back to symmetry. Maybe fold your arms or take your hands to the floor. You can take your index finger around your big toes if you can reach easily, bending your elbows and dropping your head. And as you breathe out, move closer to your legs, whichever one you do. Always your shoulders pulled back away from your ears. And then come into an inverted stretch. Pressing down, reaching up, extending but not locking. We're having another, it's called Crescent Moon. It's actually from the dog with your head down. So come onto your mat, into a dog with your head down, spread the fingers, hips and armpits toward each other, hands and feet away from each other. Head towards the floor, rotate the upper arms out. And step forward with your right foot into a lunge and place your hands on the top knee and release your hip. You could keep your hands down or you can bring them up. And then interlace your hands behind your head and you're going to create a back bend, and if you can lift your knee, that's quite tough on your hip flexors. Come back with your hands down and back into the dog with your head down. And to do the other side. I found it quite difficult to curl the toes of one foot more than the other, so it's then more difficult to come up. Into the lunge first, drop your hip forward, keep your knee over your ankle, interlace your hands behind your head, bring your elbows back, your head up, put your chest up, tummy in, so navel up, chest up. If you can lift, slowly come down, might feel different, and come back into a dog with your head down, acute angle, breathe, thighs back, heels down. And you're going to repeat that when you're ready. Step forward with your right foot, knee over your ankle, hands on your knees so you can release the hip before you come up. You don't need to come up once you have your chest open, a back bend, elbows back, lift, it's quite strong, so watch it if you've got a problem in your hip or your back. Before you come down and re-establish your center into the dog with your head down. And come back into the crescent moon, stepping forward your left foot. Place your hands on your knee if you need to first, and then come into the back bend. Slightly wobbly. Slowly coming back with your hands on the floor into a dog with your head down. And stretch, breathe, release your head. And the dog with your head down. Sure. right foot forward. You don't need to lift your knee. You can go back further into the back bend, navel up, chest up, tummy in, and then back into the dog with your head down. Feeling the contrast, come back, lunge, push your hips forward, bring your chest up, navel up, head back, and you can go further if you don't lift the back knee. Really opening that chest into a back bend, crescent moon, dog with your head down. And then come either into the hero position, or perhaps better for your back to come into a child pose or Eastern praying position, rounding your back again. Going to do the Pilates curtsy. You can have your hands on your hip, you can have your arms down. It's really a centering. You roll up onto your toes, bring the back knee as close to the floor, come up, still your both heels off the floor, and then ground by the end of the exhale, the second exhale. So it's really a centering, and it works the back leg and the thigh quite strongly, even your knees. Important to stay centered, to try and do it with the breath and control. Almost like somebody pulling you by the crown and releasing you. 5 times each side. Swiveling the back knee, or more the heel, off the floor each time. It changes slightly as you get into the lunge or curtsy. Stay centered. I always find it's much more difficult on the one side than the other. Draw that heel further back as you come down the back heel. Stay totally centered and upright. Strengthen your ankles. Whole body awareness. Keeping your control, moving with the breath. You may want to shake your legs after that. I'm going to do now a slow motion. Sort of 5 breaths more or less each one. So stand in Tadasana. Feel the 4 points of your feet. The mount of the big toe, the inner outer heel. Lift your arches. Shoulders are down. Just feel that groundedness of the mountain posture. Arrive. And then you're going to bring your arms up, but you keep looking ahead. Try and bring your elbows back, armpits forwards. Reaching up, reaching down. Nice, comfortable breath. Center. And into a forward bend. Release your head closer to your legs. Shoulders back. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Now your head to drop. And place your palms against your shin, palms facing in. Lift your head like almost a hollow back. Take your sitting bones back, you create a longer spine. And then we're going to step back with your left foot into a lunge again. Either keep your hands down if you knee over your ankle, or you can bring your arms up to extend. Release your hips. And from there we're going to come into plank. Straighten your elbows from the crown into your heels, from the waist into your heels, and from the waist into your crown. So you extend. You're going to slowly drop if you can, like a chaturanga. And then bring your hands a bit lower as you come into a bow variation. Your elbows again, your head up, tummy in, flex your feet. Thighs off the floor if possible. And straighten your legs quite wide as you breathe in, and bring them together as you breathe out. Feel that a lot in your buttocks, which engage. 5 times. And drop your feet, keep them together. Elbows against your cobra. So you might be higher or lower. Your elbows are against you and bent backwards. Possibly your feet together, otherwise apart. Then come back into plank. Extend. Elbows straight. And from there we're going to come into a dog with your head down. So again, armpits and hips toward each other. Hands and feet away from each other. And look towards your navel or your thigh. Shoulder blades to your waist. Heels back. You're going to do a lunge. Your right foot forward. Either your hands are down. If you've released your hip, bring your arms up. And then we're going to come into a forward bend with your head and your chest extended. Press against your shins, wherever you can reach. Shoulders back. Create a bit of a hollow back. And from there you come back into a regular forward bend, taking your whole trunk closer to your legs. If you need to bend your knees, if you can, lift your thighs and straighten the knees. And go and bring your arms up. This time you're going to look up. Grounding your feet, looking at your hands. Extend. Try and keep your shoulders released, and then bring your hands in front of your chest. And that's the whole sequence. It's a kind of Sarah Powers yin and yang yoga, so it's a bit different. I'm going to do the other side now. So once again, center into that mountain posture. Whole body awareness, breathe. So bring your arms up, but you keep looking ahead, reaching up, reaching down, extending without locking anything. You can straighten the elbows. Feel the breath. And then come into a forward bend, bending your knees if you need to, taking your whole trunk closer to your legs, shoulders away from your ears. And extend your head and your chest forward as you press against your shin, straighten the elbows. Just a bit of a hollow back. You can't keep your knees straight. And to step back with the right leg, so your left foot is in front, and drop your hip. You can keep your arms down or bring your arms up. Whole body awareness, feel that hip flexor. And bring your hands to the floor into a plank. Straighten from the waist into your crown, from the waist into your heels. Try and extend without bending your elbows. Breathe. Slowly coming down, chaturanga, or if you just need to plunge, plunge, and come into that bow variation with your feet flexed, your thighs off the floor, your elbows moving back towards each other, chest and head up. Then straighten the legs, keep them quite wide as you breathe in, bring them together as you breathe out. Your head and your chest up. Keep going, it's quite strong on your buttocks. You can keep the thighs off the floor. And drop and come into a cobra. Some of you will be higher, others lower. Bend your elbows backwards. And come back into plank, extending from the waist in both directions. Feel your calves. From there we're going to come into a dog with your head down to shorten the distance. You can press your feet and your hands away from each other. Hips and armpits toward each other. Maybe sitting bones to your hands. And bring your left foot forward, come back into that lunge. Hips forward, either your arms down or up. From there we come into a forward bend with your hands against your shin. Lift your head, chest forward. Engage the back of your legs if you can. Before you come back into a forward bend, as you slowly release your head back into the full forward bend. Whole trunk towards your legs. Breathe. Come back up. This time you look up. From the heels into your palms, into your fingers. Extending. And bring your hands back in front of your chest. Back where you started. You're going to now do the same fast, so I hope you can remember it. Go up as you breathe and look ahead. Forward bend as you head down as you breathe out. Hands against your shin as you lift your head, and then come back with your left leg into the lunge. Bring your arms up, and then into plank. From plank, slowly come chaturanga, and then into that bow variation. Extend your legs wide, bring them together, come into cobra, into plank. From plank, you come into the dog with your head down. And then step forward again with your right foot into the lunge, out of your arms up or down. And then come back into a forward bend with your head up, and then into a forward bend with your head down. Reach up and look up, and then back into the starting position. Look ahead, come down as you breathe out as you head to your shin and lift. Extend hands against your shin and then into the extended lunge, into plank, slowly into chaturanga and then into the bow variation with your thigh off the floor, your feet flexed, widen, bring your feet together, come into cobra, to plank, into a dog with your head down, bring your left foot forward into the lunge, arms up if you like, back into a forward bend with your head extended, release, come up, look up as you extend your arms, and back into that position. Perhaps do it once on your own without me talking. Try. It's the only way you learn. Once more with limited talk. So come up, forward bend, head up. So you can come back into lunge. Plank. Bow variation. Cobra. Plank. Dog with your head down. Right foot forward. Lunge. To forward bend with your head extended. Natural forward bend with your head released. Look up as you extend. And now see if you can do it without me. With your head down in the first forward bend. Chaturanga. Bow. Left foot forward. Forward bend with your head extended, arms back. Well done, it's not easy. It's not an easy one. Okay. It's now the complete breath, which you all know. Slowly come up, use your arms as levers, integrating the movement as your breath and feeling the space behind you, around you, in front of you. Feeling your lungs. Keep it light in your hands and arms. And see if you can time it perfectly. Creating that whole body awareness, but also the space around you. Your heels only grounding at the end of your exhalations. Centering and calming your mind. I'm going to do now a tree balance, so we're going to use a mudra where the first 3 fingers go onto your palm and your index finger, thumb touch. It just gives the whole tree a different feeling, having that mudra. Your awareness changes. So try and get into the tree and then bring your little finger, your ring finger and your middle finger to your palm and connect the index finger and the thumb. And then I would press them away from each other. So the one looks down and the one looks up. And find your center. Pressing into your palms, feel the mudra. Try and keep your hip and your shoulder above each other. Maybe fix your gaze, it may be easier. You could bring the lower arm up and the other arm down, so it's a slightly different experience. Still pressing up and down. Center. Feeling that mudra, how it changes the whole experience, and then release. You're going to try it the other way around. Maybe first come into the tree, so once you've established, got your alignment, find your mudra and reach into both hands. Pushing up, pushing down, breathing. Keep the hip and the shoulder aligned and your knee maybe slightly forward. And then see if you can slowly change. Your other arm comes up. Maintain your center. Quite a different experience with the tree. It's almost like you're holding two birds. Now this is the twist. So it's I call it the graceful twist, where you take your right hand around the outside of your left knee or thigh, straighten up. So you make a right angle with the lifted leg, and then from the base of your spine, rotate up into the crown. If you can't rotate so far, then look sideways. Find it easier to look at the floor and to do it the other way around. So your right hand into your left waist with your palm facing out. Find your center. Extend from the heel into the crown. Twist from the base of the spine to the crown. See how steady you can keep your gaze. It will help you to find that center and hold it for a bit longer. Whole body awareness. Breathe. So we're going to do what I call the Jean-Marie one. You'll do it slowly, but you're very welcome to hop and do it fast. Okay, see if you can sit with your heels off the floor, and we're going to do the palms together. I find it really helps if you can press your palms together against your breastbone. It gives you more stability. But pressing the hands together gives you stability. And then reach into the foot without leaning back. You could hop around if you're Jean-Marie, but most of us will do it slower. And then work into the foot, into the hip. It's supposed to be a warming up one, but I don't dare doing it as a warming up because I think people find it quite difficult. It is a balance. You can put your hands on the floor as well if you really can't balance, but try pressing your palms together against your breastbone. Hold it maybe for 3 breaths. Quite a good inner thigh stretch, strengthening of your ankles. Works your core because it is quite a balance. Doesn't look it, but it is. Holding your center. First stage of becoming one of those Russian Cossack dancers, throwing their swords up and down. Good for people with hip stiffness. Whole body awareness. Keep going. Maybe a bit faster. Just a few times. Accomplished something. I'm going to now do a bow on our tummy, back bends. Come onto your tummy for the bow. We were warmed up already with the Sarah Power sequence. See if you can push your feet to the ceiling, tummy in, maybe look down, and smile. Quite a good one for your thigh, for your chest opener. And then for a moment release. Allow everything to soften, including your shoulders. Take a few breaths in between. As you know, all good things come in threes, so we're going to do twice more. I like to take my hands to the inside of my feet as well. It keeps the knees more sort of closer together, so your alignment is better, but for some people it's much easier with wider knees. Push your feet to the ceiling before you release. And then once more. Final one, come onto your chin. Take hold of your feet, whichever way you like. Lift as high as you can. Breathe, tummy in, breathe into your chest. You're going to come out of it by pushing back. Maybe your knees quite wide, so your lower back can widen and lengthen. Fitting in between your knees. See if you can drop your chest. A little bit of another one, puppy stretch. You keep your sitting bones over your knees, chest to the floor. To keep that alignment, it's difficult to see. You can also do your arms folded or extended, or you can come onto your chin, where you get more of a stretch in that upper spine. Quite a strong back bend in a different way. Chest to the floor, and then once you've done that, come back into the frog with your knees wide, your head released. And take a few breaths into that position. Totally relaxing the whole of your back. It's quite a strong back bend to bear. We're going to do against the wall butterfly with either one of your dictionaries. I hope you've got one ready, or if you have foams, use a wide foam. Right as your lower back against the wall, or your door, or your cupboard, whichever you can find, with the block between the soles of your feet. So you have a wider butterfly. You rest your hands, the back of your hands on your knees. You don't have to press. That should give it a little bit of a push downwards, which will open the groins further. Back supported, lower back is close to the wall. And as you breathe and relax into that, your shoulders down, over time your knees will drop a little, giving you a bit of a groin stretch. So just stay with the comfortable, natural yoga breath. Whole body awareness. Just feel the shift. Feel the releasing of your knees and the groin. Keeping your spine lifted out of the hip basin and supported. Whole body awareness. Gradually releasing your knees a bit more. And you can come out of it, and we're going to do a heron and a twist, sitting kind of forward bend variation. Keeping your, for a change, your right leg on the floor. Take your hands around your left foot, and some of you may need to keep your knee bent, but if you can straighten the knee, reach into your foot, pull the foot up, bring your chest up, your sort of navel and your thigh toward each other, and see if you can straighten that knee, and possibly bend your elbow. Keep extending the leg upwards, chest up, thigh and toward each other, and then see if you can do a twist without pushing your leg to the left. Your trunk is going to twist further to the right, so from the base of the spine as upright as you can be, so you can slowly twist into the crown. like a pregnant twist away from the leg. Quite strong. And then you come back into that heron position once more. Maybe it's a bit easier. I can see I going a bit higher now. Straighten your knee. Get right to the buttock. Bend your elbows, chest up. You reach into your heel and pull the leg closer and up. Release the right leg. Once again. Start by extending the leg, bring your chest up, and see if you can slowly bend the elbows and pull onto the foot, onto the heel, reaching into the heel, bending your elbows, and begin to straighten the leg. Keep your trunk centered and upright. And keep your right hand into the foot, but don't bring the foot back, straighten the leg. Come a bit more up, maybe fingertips if you got a short arm. From the base of the spine, so first your left navel further out, rotate into the crown. Hold the twist without moving your leg out. But you can resist with your heel into your hand. Right leg released, keep the spine long. Back into the original heron. Always coming a bit more into it, a bit deeper into it. Chest up, leg up, elbows bent, release the right leg. A few more breaths. See how far you can bring it. For a moment, release into forward bend. Sitting bones back. With chest forward, you can bring your arms back if you like. Bring them forward and really release into that forward bend. Whole body awareness. Try not to force, but surrender into that forward bend. Rotating the thighs slightly inwards. Breathe. I'm going to do it once more, so see if you can extend the left leg, sit really firmly on your sitting bones. And I know it's not easy, so begin to extend. If you need your strap, use your strap, but I prefer you to do it without. And keep extending, bending your elbows, chest up, and your thigh and your ribs toward each other. Breathe into the belly. To the twist, you don't push your leg out, you keep it where it is, but resist with your left palm into your left heel and then twist from the base into the spine. Keep that length, elongated spine. See how far you can twist. It's really a twist of the upper trunk. Quite a nice different one. Hold and breathe. And then repeat it once more and it should get a little bit easier now. Bending the elbows as you pull the leg up and towards you, but keep your chest up. Try not to move forward. Feel that elongated spine and release your right leg. Keep working at it. Once you've got it extended, it might feel different this side. You can bring your chest up, foot up. If you had a ballerina now, the leg would go right past the nose. Ground your sitting bone, extend, bend your elbows, breathe. And see if you can twist to the left, but keep the leg where it is as you resist with your heel into your palm. From the base of the spine, slowly rotate without leaning back. Rotate into the crown, keep your sitting bones grounded, straighten the leg. The lifted leg. For the last time, get to the hamstring, right into the right buttock. You should bring the leg higher and keep pulling it up, bending your elbow, straightening the knee if you can. And then once again a well-deserved forward bend, out of your arms back. Sit flat to your sitting bones. Press those sitting bones backwards as you bring your chest forward. And then ease into it wherever you can manage. Allow the muscles to release and don't force it if you can help it. Mindful of the breath. You're going to move into a more complicated twist now. So you may need your strap. I call this the more difficult twist. So you might need a strap or something underneath your knee, or even sit on one side on a firm. If you can do the half lotus, it's actually always much more difficult. It's the same arm to the same leg. So you're going to start with the strap around the left foot, or your left hand to that strap. It's a double twist. Try and have the foot flat next to you, the right foot. Take hold of the strap or the foot. Twist to the right, and then once you've got that, you can resist with your right arm against your left knee. Then straighten up, and the upper trunk twist in the opposite direction. So it's a double twist, and it gets strong into that left shoulder and neck. It really extends quite a bit there. Your armpits pulled down. So breathe into it. If you can, keep your knees down or keep it supported. You're going to try, this is a warm-up, the other way around. So your left foot next to you, try and have the foot not sticking out. It's better for your knee. Put the strap behind you so that your right hand goes to the strap. If you can do the half lotus and bring it up, do it that way. So your right hand to your right foot is one side is always tougher. So you can twist the lower trunk to the right and then the upper trunk to the left. Like I said, it's a double twist. Dropping the knee, extending, feeling it in the right side of your neck and your shoulder. It is really quite strong there. Armpits down. Breathe. Whole body awareness, breathe into the belly. Keep the double twist going. Pressing with your hand against the knee. The second time should be slightly easier distance now. You have a mind map. Extend, resist, and then twist the upper trunk in the opposite direction. Whole body awareness. Knees down. Resist with the back of your hand against your outer leg. So again, the double twist, extend into the crown. You can look over your shoulder. Breathe. Keep that length. You should have this double twist all the time going. And then we're going to come into forward bend or a butterfly. You can choose, you can do maybe a little bit of each. Back to symmetry. Slowly releasing your knees. I can see how the one is much higher than the other. Looks quite weird. You're never the same each side. Slowly dropping into it. And then that's sort of the main part. You're going to go into relaxation. So put things on if you need to. We're going to rub our hands on our feet. getting the energy flowing. If you like me always have cold feet, it's a good one. Really rubbing your palms quite vigorously and your feet quite vigorously. And then you can drop into relaxation. So make sure you're really comfortable. Put a firm under your head or even something underneath your knees if your back is more suspect. And then release consciously. So feel the imprint your body makes. Connect the thumb and the index finger lightly, maybe move your head a little bit. And then literally drop into gravity without resisting it. So feel the weight of your calves, your thighs, your heels. And make sure your heels are a little bit apart and dropped away from the midline. And release your lower back so the whole of your lower trunk is relaxed. Belly up, lower back released. And feel the ribs, your shoulder blades. And feel that your chest and your heart and your lungs and all those organs inside of your trunk have got their proper space. And allow the upper arms and your shoulders to release further, elbows, forearms, your wrists, and the whole of your hands. And perhaps lift your head for a moment and then release it again. The back of your neck is released, the throat soft, and the skull released. Your feet are soft, your eyes closed. Now that you're centered and released, if you can begin to take the breath into the belly, mindfully into your chest, back of your throat, creating an even, natural, comfortable breath without pausing, without forcing. Always creating that slight resistance at the back of your throat, that epiglottis that's slightly closed, that slight contraction at the back of your throat. Think of breathing for the first time. Imagine that you're taking your first breath and give it that full attention. Literally becoming one with your breathing process. Feeling that inhale permeating your lungs, the whole of your trunk. Imagine it filling your whole of your body. And feel it rolling out again. Feel the effect in each cell of your body, because the whole of your skin, each cell is affected with each in and exhale. So become one with that breathing process. Let go of everything else. It's a slight opening, expanding, it's a slight contracting. Becoming part of that life pulse. Life is always motion, movement. The sea moves, the air moves, our breath moves. Life is made up of frequency, so begin to feel the movement of your breath. Rest with it. Allow your mind to flow with the in and the out of it. Become the breathing. And feel that your breath becomes more wholesome, more conscious, more mindful. We're going to introduce, if you can, the fountain. No, it's not the fountain breath, sorry, it's a square breath. Where you're going to breathe in for the count of 4, hold or pause for 4 counts, and then breathe out to the count of 4 and again pause for 4 counts. Now you can imagine a square as you do so, and simply mentally stay with the counting, unhurried, your own comfortable tempo. Breathing in for the count of 4, hold for 4, out for the count of 4, and pause for 4 counts. Do it in your own comfortable tempo and way. unhurried, keep it sustained, comfortable. See if you can do that for 2 more squares when you start the next square. And then release the counting from your mind's eye. And just take a few more breaths. And then allow it to gradually settle in its comfortable natural zone. But stay in that kind of silent space, not engaging any thoughts. Being here now. Moving into that witness state, simply witnessing the moment as it is. Your boundaries are more diffuse. See if you can find that divinity within you, that elevated sense of wholeness. Or fill yourself with gratitude. Feeling that pranic, spacious body within and around you. Prana translates as light, so you become more light-filled. It's not necessarily the light that we see, it's those invisible frequencies that also are light, forming each cell in your body, replenishing it as you not expand any energy. So you can stay with that sense of vitality, lightness, radiance, divine, sacred part of your nature. You should release your features, settle your tongue, soft throat, and allow your mind to flow with the music in harmony. slowly begin to feel your body again. Feel the floor pressing against your back. Maybe take a nice deep breath into your heart, grounding yourself back into this room. Maybe sort of move your facial features, move your toes, your fingers, drawing your knees towards you or coming onto your back. I hope you enjoyed that unusual music by Thomas Otten. Some of you might remember it, I used to play it years ago. And then come back to upright. So this is the end of this class. I hope you find time to practice it. Thank you for the feedback. I got some more feedback. I hope you have a good week ahead. Stay safe. Namaste.